So we've made it. It is the last week of Lent. And there was much rejoicing. Yay. Any Monty Python fans? No? Okay. But we've been experimenting with Lent a little bit differently this year in that we are engaging with the themes of Lent from a different direction, right? So the idea of Lent is that it is looking at the things which are distracting us from the grace of God, from the new life which is in our midst, and giving us an opportunity before we get to Easter to do essentially some spiritual spring cleaning, right? To fix what needs to be fixed. We have our beautiful communion cloth that we all mended last week that is now part of the table of grace, right? We figured out our own internal integrity as we sought to build a piece of music together. What else have we done? We made mandalas. We practiced creativity. If we didn't have to fear being wrong, what would be possible? Right? We practiced gratitude. Right? All of these things linked to the Beatitudes. And I think I've saved the best for last. Is anyone a scout? Boy Scout, Girl Scout? What's that? 4-H. Yeah, similar. Okay. So I did not grow up in a scouting family. Some people did. But somewhere around like 5th grade, I was like, you know what? I want to be a Girl Scout. And my mom was like, where did that come from? But sure enough, the church down the street, they had a Girl Scout troop that met there on Tuesday nights. And I was a junior, and then we bridged up to cadets. So that's kind of the age that I was in, right? And I went away to Girl Scout camp, and that was the first time I heard the word GORP, which when I introduced this idea last week, there was debate about what that word meant. Maybe it's a regional thing, don't know, right? But it was one of my first experiences of this idea of everyone bringing a little bit. I mean, I grew up in a potluck culture. Lots of you know that I grew up Lutheran. Lutherans are very good at potlucks. So I had that, right? But this was me. I got to pick my ingredient right around 11 years old for the first time and say, this is the thing that I'm going to bring. And this was we were at the Girl Scout camp up in Estes Park. And the scale of the number of Girl Scout troops were there. We were making GORP in trash bags. It was that big, right? So it was massive, right? But it was this whole idea that if everyone just did a little bit, then there would be enough to feed, Girl Scouts on hikes all weekend. And it was true. The scale of if we all pitched in and brought the thing that was our favorite snack food. I disappointingly, I don't see goldfish. Darn it, it's okay, it's all right. I think that's what I brought, right? But when I was 11, I brought chocolate chips today. I've, progressed. But we all created something that would never be created again in that iteration with those proportions, that it took all of us on that weekend in February in Estes Park. It was as cold as you thought. And we fed each other. And we made something bigger than ourselves. So what does this have to do with the Beatitude? Blessed are those who hunger and thirst, and I'm going to take issue with the NRSV here. We often substitute the word righteousness when the real translation is actually justice. If you look at a concordance, justice is the word that makes more sense in this, in the Greek and also in the Hebrew. So what does it have to do with hungering and thirsting after justice? And what does it mean then that we will be filled? Thoughts? Lori?
From a personal experience, I went downtown yesterday for the rally
Yeah, downtown at the rally yesterday. Yeah, like 3,000 people.
Yeah, and nationwide there were like
Yeah.
5 million.
Yes, yeah, 5 million nationwide. Yeah, yeah.
But these people, everyone there, including myself and my friends that I went with, had signs of what they want, what they hunger for,
Yeah.
they thirst for their own righteousness.
Per-
Keep your hands off the education system. Keep your hands off my Medicare, my Medicaid, my Social Security.
Yeah, yeah, protest signs that say, this is what we're hungry for, this is what we're thirsty for. Yeah, absolutely.
What I witnessed.
Yeah.
The signs were very, very clever.
Right? There's a cleverness to it for sure. There's an art to protest signs. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Totally. But yeah, right? Like everyone came together, and their reason for showing up might have been a little different, right? Everyone had a different buy-in for that moment, but they all showed up and they created something nationwide that says this is not the nation that we want to live in. There was something that drove them to that moment, each individually, but to create something larger than themselves.
An interesting thing that I always thought, political rallies were for young people, or
Political rallies are for young people. No, yeah.
people my age or older than they were younger people.
Yeah, yeah. Lots of folks who were, not the general demographic you would think, right? That it was older people who said, no, like, this is not the country we want to live in. Absolutely. Yeah. Cindy.
We were there too, and it filled me with tears
Yeah.
because I think all of us were surprised. We have been alone for so many months
Yeah.
in this, that suddenly we were together.
It's felt so lonely. And suddenly, when all of these people are gathered, you know you're not alone. Yeah, and it moves something in you, right? Like, oh my gosh, I've been carrying this burden. It has felt like I've been carrying this fear myself, and yet there's something that we are all gathered because we want a different outcome, a different world than the one that we currently
And
have.
it was interesting because even though every Sunday was different, everybody around them was going, yes!
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, every sign was different, but everyone saw themselves in everything, what other people were bringing. Right. Yeah. Cayenne.
Dane and I were there.
Perfect.
Other people. But for me, it was the part about taking on justice. It's like, it was cold, early in the morning, the weather was just nasty, and it's like, but I need to be a part of this, because part of the reason this is because some of us forget how much we can affect our own justice.
Yeah. We forget our own personal power, what we have to give to this moment.
Justice for all.
Yeah.
And what Lori was saying, the population, the amount of people that were older, it was just really wonderful to see. And it just felt like people are remembering,
Yeah.
all people are remembering how much they matter,
Yeah.
how much they can affect you.
People are remembering how much they matter and how much they can affect change. Yeah.
Getting here, I never got irritated because it took so long to find a parking space, because with every distance I had to keep going, it reminded me of how many people.
Parking was wild because there were a lot of people there, right? The one reason not to be mad about parking downtown, right? Right. Yeah, so this word hunger, right? This word hunger is so important because it's not a cognitive thing. Hunger is a biological need. Thirst is a biological need. It's not like, oh, I think I might be able to eat. It is something that is on your cellular level saying, no, this is nourishment that I must have. If you do not drink, you will die. If you do not eat after a certain amount of time, you will also die. It is deeper than bone deep. So what do we hunger for? Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for justice. That justice for ourselves, for our kin, for everyone, that as we draw the circle wider, we realize we are all kin. That it drives us that I am not okay if you are not okay. That if I have what I need and you don't, then there's something out of balance here. And I want a world where everyone can thrive. I am hungry for it.
Not to take over this. My theater geek brain immediately jumps to the sign in Funny Girl that called people.
People from Funny Girl. Okay. I'll have to put it in the e-blast. It's one I don't know. You've stumped me.
I don't know if I'm going to try and sing it, but it says, a feeling deep in your soul says you are half, now you're whole. No more hunger or thirst, but first be a person who needs people.
Okay, so
People who need people are the luckiest people in the world.
okay, so repeat it back so I can repeat it for folks on Zoom.
It goes, no, let's see. People who need people are the luckiest.
People who need people are the luckiest people.
But the last line is, there's a feeling deep in your soul.
There's a feeling deep in your soul
Says you are half now, you were half, now you're
that says you are half, now you're whole.
no more hunger or thirst.
No more hunger or thirst.
First be a person who needs people.
But first be a person who needs people. Yeah, that's it, right? In 4 lines, that is my entire sermon. Thanks, Lori. Now we can eat. Yes, now we can eat. But when I preside over communion, what is the one question I ask you? Are you hungry? Do you want what this table has to offer? Do you want to commune with the divine and with all of those gathered around the same table? Do you need to be nourished in the same way that I need to be nourished? Guess what? You do. And then we are here creating our little pocket of the kingdom, right? The protests yesterday were their own pretty big pockets of the kingdom, right? That there is a testimony to this world that can be different. Everyone brought something here. And even if you didn't, that's okay. Because there will still be enough, because there is abundance, there is enough for everyone. And so if you are hungry, come be fed. Come grab some gorp. When I gotta open a lot of packages, someone's gonna need to help me. Anybody got a knife? Right, but give me just a second. Right, now I know who carries knives. It's good to know.
I was a Boy Scout for a little while.
Boy Scout for a little while. Be prepared. All right, Dave, right? Kitty says hers may be a little safer, right? We don't need any, Joyce isn't here to mend bodies, so she did a beautiful job using surgery stitches to mend the cloth last week. Dear ones, none of you have to do it alone, but all of you are needed in this moment to nourish one another, to, like Cindy said, let other people know that they are not alone in the world that they are hungering and thirsting for. And you don't have to generate the nourishment from nowhere. We have all pitched in to nourish each other's bodies, bringing the thing that is particular to you. Chocolate chips, peanuts, pretzels. There is a model of activism that's called get in where you fit in. So what is it that gives you life, that drives you toward justice, towards righteousness? That is the gift that God has given you for this moment. What's your pineapple? What are your raisins? What do you have to bring to this moment to nourish the kingdom? Because I guarantee people are hungry for it. People need what you have to offer. You don't have to shoulder this burden alone, but your gift is necessary. And so now, bringing all of the gifts that have been given with attentiveness to dietary needs, because that's how this church rolls. We have gluten-free pretzels, M&Ms, pretzels, raisins. Is anyone peanut allergic? We've got peanut allergic. Okay, so we will set these in a place where they are accessible, but is it aerosol? Okay. Raisins. More M&Ms because we do love chocolate. What's that? They're dark, yeah, you know, antioxidants, right? Yeah. I love it. Sharing size. Perfect. Yep. Diced pineapple. Toasted oats. Yep. So we're going to put these over here because they have the gluten. Yep. I think we'll just keep these separate. Yeah. And then apricots. We can do something to balance out the chocolate. I didn't throw anything on the floor. What's that? It's bright, right? Isn't it beautiful? Oh, more chocolate. I forgot. This is what I brought. We're going to add those on top if folks want them, since it's a dietary thing. They have wheat. So you can add your Cheerios in. You can just put it on top of the baggie. It's bright, it's beautiful, it's sweet. There's fiber. More chocolate. Because we know what's good. This is Giardelli bittersweet chocolate chips. Ooh, fancy. If I can get it open. And it will never be made quite like this ever again. Because you brought things. Stirred up. In my brain, the act of stirring is what the Spirit does. Right? That we're incorporated, right? What's that? Right? You know, it mixes it all up. It brings us close to each other in ways that we wouldn't have if we weren't here this morning. And now, everyone gets to eat. I have baggies. Come get some Gorp. So Dave said it's like feeding the 5,000, right? And this is exactly why that is a miracle. It's a miracle of sharing, where everyone brought a little bit and offered it, and there is more left over.
Can you imagine some of our fundamentalists conservative friends having seen this?
Making Gorp in church. That's okay, because this is faith as we understand it, right? That this with how God has revealed God's self in our midst, this makes sense as a Lenten practice. Is it unorthodox? Yeah, probably. And also, it gets at the heart of what it is we're trying to do here. To offer something that is nourishing not only to those in our midst, but with enough left over to spill out these doors and testify like the light on the lampstand, that things do not have to be this way, that we can care for each other, that everyone can have what they need, that there is more than enough, which defies the logic that drives this country and often this world. You did that by bringing so much chocolate. And I'm so grateful to be doing it with all of you. Amen, friends, and happy Gorping.